Welcome to Fulham Fix. It is time now. God, it's come around so quick. It is our last episode of this batch of the season. It's just whizzed by, hasn't it?
It really has done, Ivan, but we keep finding Fulham heroes to speak to. So that's probably the reason it is doing that.
A
Um,
lot of
es-
heroes.
Especially this week's Ross McCormack, because I mean we'll get into it very quickly with him, but honestly, there's a period where Fulham have almost one person to thank for not being a League One team in a treacherous little period in our history quite
Mm.
recently, and that would be Ross McCormack in that team that got relegated to Championship. And he was brilliant when I really loved speaking to Ross. He was much more sort of like not reserved, like composed and sort of gentle than I expected to him. I
Yeah.
expected him to be a bit more bullish, but he was just really good, like kind company, wasn't he?
Oh, without a doubt, and really humble as well. I mean, you mentioned that, it's pretty much down to him that we weren't a League One team, single-handedly almost. And even when we sort of put that to him, he was very humble about that and started naming the other players in the squad that, oh, you look at those players and you look at that player and so yeah, you're right, really, really soft and humble. And also I knew him loosely because I that was my first season on the mic when we signed him, and but didn't get to know him that well because understandably he always started. I got to know the players more on the bench.
Yeah.
Um, but there were some stories going around, bit of banter, going out and stuff like that. So you thought there'd be a bit of that. And I wonder, we did have his son in the room, and I
Oh,
wonder if there was a maybe slight reservation of going into too much detail, because he had his younger son in the room. And what was really bizarre as well, and this is becoming more and more in life, I remember his son when he used to bring him to the games and he used to like run around on the pitch after the game, like as basically a toddler. And he's
yeah,
there as like pretty much a fully grown man, like, oh man, that's insane.
yeah, yeah.
But hey,
Brilliant.
listen, this isn't about the passing of time, the cruel passage of time. This is about, like you said, another Fulham legend, a fantastic player. And I mean, you only have to go back to listen to what Tom Kearney says about him to understand what a gifted, gifted footballer he is. And he really is.
Quickly before we jump to it, that day he was going to get a Forever Fulham review at half time. Was it like amazing? Because I think people really care about Ross, don't they? Especially because he's quite a recent history as well. So you got a lot of talking about the passing of time, kids that were teenagers who are now maybe mid-20s who think that almost their first Fulham hero was Ross McCormack.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I think that I was actually slightly nervous, weirdly, because the way he left, it wasn't in a negative way.
Yeah.
But it kind of just happened, and you knew he was looking for the next team that would take him up. And so
Mm.
naturally fans get offended. You don't think we're that team. We're not the team that's going to get you promoted. And he actually discusses it in the pod, and it's really interesting, his take on it and his regrets and stuff like that with that. But I suppose there was a bit of a nervousness going, how's he going to be received? Because like I remember him so fondly. What a talent, what a player. And, he kept me busy in those early days on the mic when, you know, there wasn't much to celebrate. I could always count on announcing a Ross goal or two in those early days, and that was fantastic. So what was really nice when he did come out, the fans really got behind him, and people started. I think the hammy end, good old hammy end, started doing, the Ross
I
McCormack. I
did
thought
say
that's
that's nice.
that's so good to hear. So that was lovely. So yeah, really pleased, and hopefully, even with more time passing, he'll be remembered even more fondly, and as just an incredible talent all round and a great Fulham player.
Brilliant. Here he is, Ross, before the Arsenal game this season, before he got that standing ovation Ivan's just referred to. Proper Fulham legend, Ross McCormack. Ross McCormack, welcome to Fulham Fix, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, looking
Mate,
forward
it's
to
a
it.
pleasure to have you. It's been long awaited having you on. We did some notes right this week, questions to ask you. This is the first and main point I've got on mine. He was fantastic. We were.
Yeah, that's our main takeaway.
Does that ring any bells?
Yeah,
About your time at Fulham?
I mean, I hate to say it, we weren't great, were we?
Oh.
No, we weren't. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, man, it's a mad time, wasn't it? Mad time.
It was unique.
The thing is, the whole unique thing about it is when I signed and I went and met Felix, he said that all our first team players were going to stay. So I'm looking down.
Well, that's a lie. Yeah,
I'm looking down the squad list. I'm thinking Ruiz, Mitroglou, Rodallega.
Yeah.
Big Dan wasn't Big Dan as he is now, but he was still good.
Parker,
Kaka,
Scott Parker.
Scotty Parker.
Yeah.
But then we turn up first game of the season. There's only me and Scott Parker who had ever played a minute in the championship. I'm thinking, what's happened here?
Yeah.
They were all playing head tennis themselves at Motspur Park while we were training. All them players just bombed out the first team. Chaos.
Rodallega, all of that lot.
Yeah.
So how was it sold to you though? Because did you see Fulham in the back half of the Premier League season? Like, do you know what I mean? Because all that stuff had already gone down about Hangeland and cheese on the knee and like how hard they were training. Like,
certainly rumours coming out. Weren't there?
How did you get convinced to be like?
There was a lot of rumours, but do you know what? As mad as Felix Magath was, it was actually really good for me at the start. If you think back to my first few games, I don't think I hit the ground running. I think it was a cup game away to Brentford. I scored my first goal.
That rings a bell. Yeah.
It would have been very easy for Felix to take me out of the team after 4 or 5 games not scoring. You see it now. You know, doesn't matter how much you cost, where you've come from, what you've done in the past. If you don't hit the ground running, you know, you're out of the team. Look at Isak at Liverpool.
Yeah.
You know, he's struggling to get in because he's not hit the ground running. So it would have been easy for him to take me out of the team, but he was brilliant for me. He wanted me to lose a lot of weight, which is probably fair enough. But I was losing weight too quickly, and I was becoming, one of my main strengths was a bit like John McGinn at Aston Villa. You know, you get the bum in, you're strong, you can't be moved. But we had boys coming up and training with us from like under 19s, under 18s, and they were knocking me off the ball and stuff because I was losing that much weight too quick. So it was really good with me. I went to him and we sort of agreed a little sort of Eubank Ben catchment weight that I could get to.
Is this before you signed?
During.
Right,
so pre-season, so he allowed me to put a little bit back on. But it was really good for me. But I've got to say, all the rumours are true. He was absolutely mental.
But that's so fascinating to me that he was good for you, because we haven't actually had, you know,
many that have said
stories where people have said actually, and when you lost weight, was it because apparently he ran people so hard training wise? Do you think that's how it happened, like overtraining?
It was both. I think maybe he'd changed the diet a little bit in the kitchen and stuff at lunch and that, but because you train that hard, I mean, we were training, I was coming in the morning doing a session before training, and then fitness coach doing in the gym work and stuff in the afternoon. So by the time you get home in the evening, you've lost your appetite. You're not even hungry. It's like, I just can't be bothered doing anything. So it was falling off me. I think I'd lost about 10 or 11 kilos in the space of about 4.5 weeks or something.
Whoa.
So it was...
Wow.
It's not good really for championship football as well, especially when you're so many games
Saturday, Tuesday. Yeah, no, it's not good.
So one of the rumours that I think was very accurate the entire time was the punishments. I mean, you know, speaking to a number of the Premier League players from that era, when they'd lose a match, they'd get off if it's been a away game, they'd get off the bus and they'd be made to run. Instead of being allowed to go home, they'd be made to run. Was there anything like that? Because obviously, famously under him, we lost the first 7-8 matches, I believe, sat rock bottom of the championship. Was there similar punishments?
I think the problem was his first few games in the championship. It wasn't that I don't think we lost every game. Did we not draw quite a few?
I don't know. We were bottom with 8 games in, weren't we? Definitely.
I think the first 7 games or whatever, there might have been 4 or 5 games where we conceded late.
Yeah.
So if we were drawing, we would then get beat, or if we were winning, we would then draw. So it wasn't going too well. But that's absolutely spot on, that running thing. I can give one story where we played out here. We were at home to, I think it was Millwall, second game of the season. Yeah. And we lost. I think Tim Hoogland scored.
Yeah, one.
So that was the Saturday, and we were playing someone on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we were in on the Sunday. And usually what happened is at Motspur Park, the fitness coach would start the warm-up, and then after, 5-minute jog, you would then stretch and do all that kind of stuff. But that day, Felix didn't give the whistle to the fitness coach to stop. So we were running for an hour and 10 minutes.
Solidly.
That was a Sunday, day after the game. Bearing in mind we had the game Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Felix's big thing was we all had to eat lunch together, which is kind of expected, yeah. But Scott Parker stood up after lunch and said to the manager, right, boss, can we leave now? See you tomorrow. He said, see you tomorrow? 5:30. We were back in at 5:30 on Sunday night doing 11v11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does Scott captain at the time? Does he say anything at that point? Does he try and because that's really pushing you guys to the limit now.
Yeah.
Beyond the limit.
Yeah.
Does he say anything? Someone as experienced as him as well.
Not really. I think maybe in private he had a few words with Felix. I would imagine. I liken myself to if I was captain at the time, you would have to go and say something.
Yeah.
You would have to, because the boys are in Scotty's ear all the time, you know, nagging, or this is, you know, yada yada. So I would imagine he said a few things in private, but probably Scott's looking at it from his selfish point of view as well. If he says too much to Felix, he can see Mitroglou, Ruiz over the other side of the training ground not being allowed to train with us.
Yeah.
Even, who was the goalkeeper? Was it Stecklenburg?
Jorinen was in.
Well, no, for us at that point.
right.
So with Stecklenburg, I think he was actually put in the training bit and might have been sold sort of in.
He was even worse. Stecklenburg, he wasn't even allowed. He had to be out the training ground at 8 a.m. by the time we came in.
What was your feelings then? Because you know you're with Leeds. I think you're currently the top scorer in the Championship. You know, are you looking at Fulham at that point, going they are guaranteed promotion, or they're the closest? You know, was the goal always Premier League, and did you look at Fulham as my best chance of getting the Premier League at that point before we start the season?
Yeah, and you know what? I think we'll probably come on to it later. I done the exact same when I signed for Fulham. When I left Fulham to go to Aston Villa, I didn't learn my lesson. You look at the squad and think, right, the squad that you're leaving ain't going to get to the Premier League. I think if you look at the squad, the Fulham squad that I left, we wouldn't have got promoted without the signings that came in after I had obviously gone.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it thinking, you're looking at Aston Villa's squad the same way as I was looking at Fulham's squad. They're going to get promoted. This is my chance. Get to the Premier League finally. That's the way I was looking at the Fulham squad. I'm looking down that list, and you've named a few, and you've missed loads.
Yeah.
Amorbieta, Mitroglou, Ruiz, Rodallega, Kakaneklic.
Ruiz. Oh,
They were all training on their own. While we were doing all Felix's crazy sessions, they were playing head tennis at the other side of Hotspur Park.
Mad.
I mean that in itself is. Did you think? Were there any regrets at that early stage? Walking into Hotspur and you sort of a few games in, we're brought bottom of the Championship. Were you thinking, what have I done?
Not regrets, because, as I said, the squad that I'd left in Leeds, realistically at that point in time, weren't much better than, even if you take the Mitroglous of this world out of the Fulham squad. It wasn't as if I was leaving Leeds to come to a worse squad at Fulham, do you know what I mean? So there wasn't any massive regrets. I probably looked at it as well, thinking after a few weeks, you know, I'm realistic enough to know that the results in the first 4 or 5 games ain't going to go that well. So realistically, he's going to have to give them a call back in at some point.
Yeah.
And then that's when it will get better.
Yeah. Did you feel responsibility quite quickly? Because I know from watching you play, you were running the team quite clearly, quite early. That's my memory of anyway. Statistically, back it up, 100 games for them, 42 goals in a team that was struggling.
Insane.
It's unbelievable.
Team that were like just relentlessly battling, basically relegation.
And I felt like you, because when I see you playing now, I don't know if this is correct or incorrect. I imagine you coming to places to get the ball and just running the show as like, do you know what? It a little bit. Just let me just get hold of these games. And was that firstly, was that good for you? And secondly, is that how you saw it into like psychologically?
Well, it's definitely not how I saw it. I didn't have it in my mind that, you know, because what it sounds like for probably a listener listening there is me personally thinking that the players behind me ain't good enough, so I'm going to get the ball and I'm going to do it. That wasn't my thought process at all. Over my career, I was always, and people look at your stats, and like you've just said there, 40 odd goals in 100 games. People think, oh, he's a striker, he's a goal scorer.
Yeah,
Never
right.
was.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never been a striker. I was always a number 10. A lot of the times I played wide left, and if you think even to when Slav came in, Kit took over.
Yep.
A lot of the times in the last half an hour of the game, they were bringing on another striker and putting me back to centre mid. So I didn't play a lot of games up front.
Yeah.
So it was never in my head that, you know, you're the main man, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. It was always just that I felt I had a sort of inner belief that I could influence a game by doing that. Not that I didn't think anyone else could do it. I just felt as if that would be best for for me
Yeah.
personally, because I always felt like I wanted to be involved. And if you see it all the time with number 9s these days, they hardly touch the football.
Yeah.
Me and Leighton were watching Middlesbrough Ipswich,
Yeah.
and we were talking about Ipswich, and they're talking about chances and stuff. And I said, well, Smodics and Jaden Philogene, they're going to get more chances to score than Hurst.
Yeah.
Take away the penalty. The strikers aren't involved in the game.
They're not
these
at
days.
all.
Everything is
Yeah.
in the build up, and
Yeah.
all they do is occupy the centre halves. So
Yeah.
I never felt as if I could be that guy, because I was always wanting to be involved in the play.
Totally, yeah. So, but beyond statistics, I think you've probably seen it 'cause it was on your Instagram, but Tom Kearney was on very recently, and we were talking about, was it five-a-side team on the most talented
dream five-a-side team,
or the most talented footballers who have been a five-a-side team at Fulham, and he said that you were the most gifted he's seen in terms of being able to do whatever you wanted with the football. I can't scan what he
I've
said.
never
He said
seen
that.
a guy that can score every single.
He said you could
possible
do
way.
everything with the ball,
Yeah.
chip it, smash it, thread it through.
It made me smile, to be fair, and I did send him the £100 for saying it.
Did you?
But like, I mean, quickly, like, was that something that was always in your, as a kid? Did you have that natural ability with a football? Is that something that came later? And because that was obvious to us at Fulham.
In terms of finishing, maybe even like if you want to even look further back the pitch, long passing and stuff, maybe vision. Nowadays, the young boys don't do what I used to do when I was a kid. I had to go to, when I was coming through at Rangers, the training centre had just been built. So they had this big, shiny indoor hall, full-size football pitch. And I had to be there 2 hours before because people had to work and stuff. So that was the only time I could get there. What was I going to do at that time? Was I going to sit in the dressing room on my phone? Didn't really have social media back then.
Yeah.
I was in the indoor hall, and I promise you, and I say this to a lot of young kids now, my finishing, the goals that I scored, whether it be free kicks, strikes from outside the box, it was all by design. It was practice.
Yeah.
It was that 3 nights a week, 2 hours early, even before the session, constant free kicks, constant finishing, constant shooting. I put something on my Instagram last night. Me and Leighton were messing about outside, just hitting free kicks. And I hit one and it hit the post and hit the bar. And I actually put it on my Instagram story, and a lot of people commented who were sort of years below me at Rangers when I was growing up. And they're saying that's because you put the work in at Murray Park.
Yeah.
But nowadays the kids don't have that same.
Really?
Well,
Do you
so
mean
much
same?
is put on natural. No, you say that, but you know the amount of time, even with commentators sometimes, and you hear them talk about this natural ability, this natural instinct. You know, they put that down, but you forget that a lot of these strikers, it's the work. It's
craft,
you remember like Beckham, would
same thing.
free kicks and penalties relentlessly over and over and over again. And I suppose a lot of the time it's just expected you can do it.
I think, see, when commentators and people in the press and stuff talk about natural ability, usually that's people like a Grealish or a Foden who sort of will glide by players and stuff. I was never able to do that, and I was fine with that. I didn't even. I mean, you probably can absolutely back up. I never even tried it, and I wasn't interested in beating players in a game. I was more interested in being in positions that you can affect games. I think natural ability, yes, your Fodens, your Grealishes, your Morgan Rogers, them type of players, even Josh King now, he's got it.
He does.
Where he can just glide past the player, drop his shoulder and go the other way, and the player's gone. I never had that. I wasn't interested in having it. I was never going to be good enough at it for it to be one of my core strengths. So I used other things, but the other things that I used were built from being 12 years old all the way up to 16 hours of practice.
It's interesting because another thing Tom Kearney said to me was in my head from hearing you say that is that he felt that he needed a foreign manager, which he didn't get till much later in his career, but would understand that because of his appearance, he wasn't that type of player and he needed to be involved in the middle of games. Did you feel that was like, you just said actually Magath was good for you. What clicks with you at Fulham that you had, it was so fruitful for you? Do you think people understood you on the pitch type thing from a technical?
I think I had a strong season at Leeds before I came. So I'd built up this sort of inner confidence that I could affect games, and then I think there was a little bit when I came to Fulham. I felt as if I could be that guy if I really went for it. So there was a huge confidence and self-belief that I could, as I said, influence every single game that I played in the Championship. And even you talk about the goal record and stuff, assists and stuff like that. I felt as if probably them 2 years at Fulham, without being really big-headed, I felt as if I probably did have some sort of influence in nearly every game at Craven.
Yeah.
Well, I think we were discussing, and I think this is probably more than fair enough, that if not for you, Dembele as well, I think, started to really come into his own.
Yeah, Dembele's
second
mad
half of the
team.
first season.
Hugo Rodallega coming in halfway through the first season. He was big for me. I could play number 10. He was really, really big.
I forget that you had a sort of a good partnership there as well. I always think of
Dembele.
you and Dembele.
Yeah, people don't. Rodallega was 100 times better to play with than Musa.
Oh, really?
Oh, but he was a million times better football.
What was it? What was the difference?
Everything. He's Musa was he was very quick, very powerful, but he was also to an extent very selfish.
Okay.
Not selfish as in just a typical striker.
Yeah.
Gets in
wants
front
to
of
go,
goal. A lot of the times he'll shoot, whereas me and Hugo had this sort of, we never even spoke about it, understanding. Like a lot of times when I think I was through away to Brentford, I can't remember what game it was, and I squared it with my left foot and Hugo scored. I could easily went in and took that myself, but Hugo was the same as me. If someone's in a better position, I don't care, I'll give him the ball. That's just how you are. Whereas strikers who are just hell-bent on scoring goals, probably like Musa was. Collie Woodrow was a little bit more in the me and Rodallega camp.
Yeah.
But the way Musa was, it was frustrating at times.
It is very interesting.
As good as he was, he was frustrating.
And do you think without yourself, Scott Parker, we were saying, Hugo, Rodallega,
we're a League One team without that.
we League One? Because I think we finished that first season, we were 17, just one spot above, or 16th.
Wow.
And I think, without yourself and your many goals and assists, we're.
I would say that it's as close to a guarantee as you could get in the Championship, that if we didn't bring them players back into the first team fold, we were done.
Yeah.
We didn't bring them all back though, did we?
A lot of them came back in.
Yeah.
Kaka came in, Dan Burn came in,
coming in,
Rodallega.
Yeah.
The only one who didn't come back into the first team fold was Mitroglou.
Yeah, well, to be honest, we'd never really seen him play for Fulham.
Tell us about
anyway.
Mitroglou. What was your
he like?
experience of him? He's like a mythical character at Fulham. We hardly.
He was our record signing that never really played. I saw him in a pre-season. He looked half decent. He looked like a magician, didn't he?
Yeah, technically very, very good. Good finisher. I'll tell you a story about him. We went to... Where did we go pre-season under Felix? Was it like Austria or somewhere like that?
Yeah.
Well, Kostas came.
Yeah.
And we were one day going all the way up the mountains to get to the cable car thing and
right,
down it.
Yeah, I got a good vision of it.
Costa was going off. He said, "I'm not doing that. No chance." Blah blah blah. So the bus, the bus was at the bottom. Right, we had to get off the bus, go in, get our tickets, get back on the bus, and go up. So Costa was kicking off. He's like, "I'm not doing that. I'm a footballer. I'm not going up." I mean, it was like 2 hours drive up this mountain or whatever.
Yeah.
So we got like halfway up the mountain and someone got a text from Costa. "How's that drive?" and the lads are like, "Oh, he's it." He sent a picture of himself. He had a pint of beer and a cigarette.
No.
Yeah. And then we're going to...
Oh my God.
That is so good, man. Talk about, sorry, can you reel through some of those characters? Because I just want to know about him. Brian Ruiz. What about Ruiz? Were you and him? Because you, in my memory, you had a good telepathy, but on the pitch, you two got a connection.
On the pitch, yes, but the type of character that he was off the pitch didn't interest me one bit.
Oh, really?
Very, very, very arrogant.
Really?
Yeah. We used to do this thing where if you stepped out of line within the squad, you would get fined.
Yeah.
Stupid things like going in the shower without your flip-flops on, leaving your jumper on the training pitch, stuff like that, you get fined 20 quid, 30 quid or whatever. And it would all go to the Christmas party where the boys just go out. You would give half of the probably fine kitty to the staff so they can go out and keep half for you so you can go out and have dinner and a couple of beers and what have you. So we were in a meeting one day and Scotty Parker, he was reading out the fine sheet and Brian was on it. And he's like, "Why am I on that?" Scotty said, "You left your jumper on the training field." Now, bear in mind, 2 weeks before this, I already had a bee in my bonnet about him because he wouldn't take his plate from lunch to the... You know, you'd put your plate on the thing so the dinner ladies could then take it in and clean it.
That's already annoying.
He would get up and leave his plate there.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's not my job. And he didn't even say that's, Trisha's job or what.
Yeah.
We knew everyone's name.
Yeah.
Instead of saying Trisha's job, that's her job. So straight away I was thinking, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
And then that day in the fine, I flipped with him because he left his jumper on the training pitch and he refusing to pay his fine. He's saying, that's not my job to look after the kit. That's the kit man's job. He should be going out there and picking it up and bringing it in.
Yeah.
And I lost that.
So what do you say? How does he react to you kicking off at him?
Well, I've got to be a little bit PG. Basically, who the you think you are?
Yeah.
That was it, yeah.
Wow. I wouldn't fancy him in an altercation.
No, I wouldn't. I think putting you two together, I think you're coming out on
Too
top.
good looking, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Too busy with his hair.
I don't think that guy's ever been in a fight in his life. I don't think he's even been slapped.
Was there tension then, or is that normal for a football team to have those sort of characters and that sort of tension, or do you think there was unusual tension in that team?
Not unusual tension, no, because, see, to be fair, as soon as you walk out the meeting room, you forget about it.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get these days. There's a lot of things getting blown up in football these days about silly little arguments. You would argue with 2, 3, 4 people a day on the training pitch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Isn't
You
that
can
true?
go play 5-a-side.
Yeah.
Even like, I'm playing with my brother and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
takes it so serious.
Yeah.
Just playing 5-a-side. But
Yeah,
you're right. It's natural to have that,
Yeah.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah, as I say, a lot of these arguments have been blown up in the press. I mean, I was reading one earlier on last night, I think it was, about Rudiger falling out with Bellingham.
Right.
And now because Rudiger's leaving, they're trying to bring this story
Make some
in that
story,
it could
yeah.
be because he fell out with Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
They had an argument on the training pitch because of a bad tackle. If you wanted to report on that, you'd be there all day.
Totally. You're right about everything, yeah.
Just thinking of that team that you had there, was there any quite zen players? Was there anyone where you're like, they never get an argument? They always, they keep it quiet. Because I look at certain players and I think, someone like I can't imagine Kac Nikolic
yeah.
like getting in, like he's just like quiet.
Has someone told you that?
No, why?
That's absolutely spot on.
Is
about
it?
Kaká,
Yeah, he just
There you
seemed like
go.
really
just
zen.
a lovely guy.
Yeah, there
Never
you
done
go.
anything wrong. Never really. Yeah, he didn't do anything. He was
Oh,
just so
bless.
nice, Kaká.
Really?
There was a lot of kids in that squad. There was a lot of kids. Even Patrick Roberts is in that team and that kind of thing. So you're with a lot of kids like
Emerson Hindman as well.
Emerson
Emil was
Hine.
good,
Yeah, great. Yeah.
George Williams. Start naming
Just
them.
reel off through a few goals. Do you remember a situation with Ryan Tunnicliffe where you break away and he doesn't want the ball?
The highlight of the season. I think
That was a
It's
hat
wonderful.
trick against Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Our last home
Wait,
game
was
of the
at that
season
game,
as well, was it?
yeah.
So how old were you? How old have you been? 3?
3, do you remember it?
Well, yeah, it'd be hard to
Yeah,
remember
because
that.
we had the box in the old stand. Remember, yous were up the box with your gran and that. Tunners was saying that basically he knew fine well I was going to get around to keep on score, so he didn't want to make that. He couldn't be bothered.
You got
He couldn't be bothered. Tunners.
Because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like a readable situation where he's and you're like, okay, well,
If you watch the goal, you can actually see me. Like I'm like, come on.
yeah, you do. You give him a little thing. Your
Yeah,
turn.
I'm like,
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
because I'm just about to. I said it earlier. If someone's in a better position, in my head, there, I'm thinking, even though I'm on a hat trick, if Tunners runs alongside me, I run to the keeper, square it, he taps it in.
Sure.
Happy days.
yeah. It couldn't sum up you and your contribution to Fulham more than that goal itself. You're
Oh, it was
"What,
it was unbelievable.
Through here. What about the chip against Bristol City?
Was that
Can you see it?
the one that won goal of the season?
It
Do you remember
probably
that
would
one?
have done, wasn't it?
Michael Maddle, was that right? Played it over the top.
Michael Maddle, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that-
God, I've forgotten his name. Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
still
sounds
see
about
it's on the right hand side of the penalty area, just like soft
Yeah,
chip.
I do remember it. That was, I would say that was my second best Fulham goal.
Oh well, there we go. Got to give us your first then. What
I
would you
don't
say?
think you'll get it. There was one, you remember years ago now, it was absolutely nothing like this goal. It was kind of similar, but nowhere near this level.
Okay.
Remember Henri on the edge of the box and someone passed into him and he chipped it up to himself and volleyed it into the...
Yeah.
Well, there was one into these goals here. It might have been Reading. I think we were 2-0 down at half time and we came out and won 4-2. I think someone played it into me and I chipped it up and spun myself and hit it on the volley.
God, we got to dig that out.
Can
If
we
we've
find that?
got that, we got to play that.
We think that's Reading.
I'm positive it was Reading because there was another goal as well. I think with I think it was Musa, where he played it into me and I backheeled it. I think the players thought that I was going to just take a touch, but I backheeled it back to Musa and he's ran through and scored. We were 2-0 down at half time and came out, and I'm no joke, it could have been 8 or 9 2 years.
That rings a
Best
bell.
I've ever seen us play.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that under Kit? Who are we at the moment? Who are we under at that point? 'Cause
Yeah, I think Kit.
Was it?
I think so. Yes.
So is this season number 1 or 2? At this
One.
point? 1.
Should we talk about Kit a bit?
Yeah, I think so because he was I think a key part of making us feel like we had our club back. I think people sort of forget that. I think he had a tough task on his hands, taking over from Felix in the Championship, rock bottom, but I think did a pretty good job of making us feel like I suppose we had control again, and he got the best out of the I suppose the younger players. I feel like we've just found this goal. Hang on a
Sorry,
second.
Ivan, I don't want to interrupt you.
No.
Ollie
Is
just
Is it
found
right?
the
Is it
goal.
Reading? Reading.
Let's
Yeah.
have a look at
Right.
this.
Now, bearing in mind, remember I said it was nothing like Henri.
Here we go.
Aye!
Do you know what? It's still a very good goal. That's a very
Nothing
good
like
goal.
Henri though. Is
Not
it?
like Henri, but I see what you mean. You
Henri.
get it up to yourself. You set it up for yourself. You
Come on,
assisted
dink
yourself.
it,
there.
180.
Brilliant.
Come on, Fulham.
Running back there. So that's after half time.
Yeah.
Point. That's the second half. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game there is the best. That I think we'd obviously beat QPR and what have you. That's good for the fans. But see that 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That is the best that I was involved in at Fulham. We
Yeah,
had
yeah.
an incredible second half.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember anything then about what Kit would have said at half time at that point? You're 2-0 down. I think at that point we are, struggling. We are near the bottom. We are near the relegation zone.
I believe Scotty was playing that game. Scotty Parker.
Yeah.
Kit wouldn't have had to have said a word. Scotty is, see when you want to talk about motivation and you want to talk about team talks, Scotty is by far the best I have ever seen. I don't know if anyone's ever said it before, and I'm sure if you ask TC and that, what he used to say to us and how he used to deliver it before a game, when he was captain, never mind manager, make the hairs on your neck stand up.
Really?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Kit wouldn't have said a word that game. Scotty would have said it.
So you'd have had in your head, he's definitely going to manage football at the highest level type thing.
He was a manager when he was playing.
Wow.
The managers didn't have to say anything when he was involved. He was,
Really?
do you know what? I'll give you one. He was going to kill Moussa Dembele one game. he had to be stopped. I don't know if you got
Because
footage.
of the
I don't know if
the
you
need
got
for a goal.
footage or whatever, but Scotty was on Moussa's case. He was giving it away. He looked disinterested or whatever, and Moussa turned round at one point and done that to Scott Parker. He was going to kill him.
It's like that meme. What's that meme where something happens and it cuts
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the? Is it the people walking with the coffin? Sorry,
Okay.
in my head, that's that. I could just imagine that happening.
Whoa.
Wow.
And
He just had to be stopped at half time.
oh.
And did it work? Do you remember the? I guess the hairdryer effect. I suppose did what Scott said at half time make a difference? Did Moussa hear it?
He would have heard it all right.
Yeah.
He would have heard it. He would have had to go at him. It was just, I reckon if he would have got to him on the pitch, he would have, yeah. He was fuming.
Mad, son.
Scotty's very much, you don't really, or even back then, you knew he wasn't happy, but you never see him like, you can tell on his face.
Yeah, you
he
wouldn't.
was fuming, but he'd gone. He had gone.
He was one. I mean, at that time as well, he was so special for us. And you think of, again, battling for. I remember like there was a point where I used to do in Brian McBride's bar. I used to have to stay and we had a player come over and do like photographs and stuff. And there were a number of times we lost. Obviously, and we're battling for relegation, and no one would ever want to come. Like, and there were many times where people, like players, just refused to come. They just, for whatever reason. Scott would come almost every single time. And I remember one time, just blood still he was still in his kit, blood pouring down his leg, but he wanted to come, make sure he saw the fans. And he did that. He must have done that 3 or 4 times that season to make up for, a player that didn't want to come because we had lost. And I thought that was always remarkable.
Yeah, it was always like that, the humility. You listen to him speaking now, even when he's a manager.
Yeah.
It's just such a perfect guy, isn't he? You can't fault him in anything. And I say that here, his work rate, even when he was out the team, he was in the gym constantly every day, battering that watt bike, fit as a fiddle, still at that age. He couldn't play every game because of the mechanics of his body or whatever, but in terms of looking after yourself and that,
Brilliant.
absolutely incredible.
Ross, what were your, from your perspective, you leaving Fulham, what happened there, and what were your, because obviously going to Villa is a big deal at that time. You can see why that makes sense from a personal perspective. What was this chain of events? Because the interesting thing is that Fulham team the next year, we get a lot better in terms of, infrastructure player-wise, but we're missing
you.
exactly you.
We don't have that goal
in that
scorer,
next season. So it's quite an interesting shift in sands there, because if you'd been in that Fulham team next year, you'd have probably made hay, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think I'm unsure that a lot of the players who came in after I left would have came in before I left.
Yeah.
I think in terms of getting that money in for me,
Oh, yeah.
might have enabled Slav
That's
to
fair point.
distribute it elsewhere. So I'll never know. But in terms of me leaving, I said it earlier, I didn't learn my bloody lesson. I done the exact same when I left Leeds to come to Fulham. I looked at the squad and thought, a Premier League team ain't going to buy me, because for what I was going to cost, I would have been classed as a Premier League gamble.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always going to be a Championship club. I
Yeah.
think before I came to Fulham, there was one club outside of basically Britain. I could have went to Malaga, I think.
Right.
Okay.
There was talks of me going to Malaga, but that never materialised. I think Isco maybe just went to Real Madrid.
Right.
So there was a bit of money there to spend, but that never came about. So it was going to be a move to a Championship club. So you look at squad lists in the Championship. I done the same at Fulham. I looked at that, even though they weren't involved. Done the same at Aston Villa.
And you literally like that, just looking at
Looked
things.
at the squad list again. They were all there. Idrissa Gueye was there.
Grealish, was he?
Jack was
Grealish.
there. Yeah, but he didn't really.
He wasn't quite the player he is now. Yeah.
Oh, certainly not. No, I think my debut for Aston Villa, I played number 10 and Jack was on the bench.
Right.
So he wasn't. He was sort of in and out then.
Yeah.
But certainly the squad list that were there at Aston Villa, I'm looking at it thinking, I can't get to the Premier League direct from Championship to Premier League. I've got to go to a Championship club who's going to get.
Yeah.
Now I think the club. At one point, I didn't think I was going to go, but then the club accepted a bid from Norwich, I believe. Now, I was never ever going to go to Norwich. I wasn't. No chance.
No disrespect to any Norwich fans watching. But
I wasn't going to leave Fulham to go to Norwich. No chance. Family was settled and all that as well.
Malaga was a bit more appealing, possibly. Yeah, it's Malaga, innit? It's beach.
It went that
Norwich.
far because at the time, obviously, my ex-wife, her mum and dad had a place in Elviria.
Oh, sort of had
just south of
family
Marbella,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
So it was very appealing, that one.
Free babysitting, you know.
Yeah, but it never came about. So yeah, I say I went to Aston Villa, but there was a period in time where I felt as if I probably wasn't going to leave for a couple of weeks. Like throughout that summer, I always felt as if I'm going to leave here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave because if I don't, I'm never going to get to the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear that, you can't blame you at that point. I mean, how old are you at that point?
I was like 30, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And so you can't.
30.
Obviously, our Fulham fans were gutted. We weren't happy you were going, but in hindsight, you go, do you know what? Fair enough. There's such a small period of window, small window as a footballer to make, that leap and to get those opportunities. We had the same with Polina, didn't we? Talking about going to Bayern, and you sort of don't blame him because you don't get many of those opportunities. But then, how soon then into your move to Villa do you regret it? Would you say?
Only a few weeks.
Really?
A few weeks, yeah.
What was it, would you say?
I knew right away that Di Matteo was the manager. Got the feeling right away that he didn't sign me. It was the owner that signed me. The owner must have looked at the top of the goal scoring charts over a couple of years and went, right, we'll get him.
Mm-hmm.
And Di Matteo said, all right, okay, I'll take him.
Yeah.
But I didn't ever feel as if I was his signing.
Right, okay.
But then there was a point though where, how long were you at Villa for? Sorry.
About 2.5 years
Oh,
or
it
something
was quite a
before
while.
I
So you
left,
had a couple of managers there as well. But there was a point where rumours were you might come back to Fulham.
Yeah, so that was only, I think I signed for Aston Villa in the August, I think it would have been. And I was possibly going to come back in the January. I went on loan to Nottingham Forest, but the chat was that I was going to come back on loan.
Because I remember like Fulham Twitter at the time
buzzing,
being buzzing for it, and there was real chats going on about it. So that was quite genuine then. You'd had actual talks and
Yeah, it was close. Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't really know. I don't really know what happened. There was different reports that Slav didn't want to work with me again, and I was asking for too much money. And I mean, anyone who knows football, a loan player doesn't get paid more money. They still get paid the same salary that they're on anyway. So it was nothing to do with that. And then when I played here for Forest, I think it was one of my first games. Can't remember the score, but Slav pulled me after it and said, "Listen, that press release was utter nonsense."
Oh, really?
Yeah, because me and Slav got on really, really well.
Yeah. So it wasn't when you left. There wasn't any.
No, nothing at all.
About
No.
that at all.
He was actually. He was happy for me. He was happy for me. He's like, I can see your thought process. Again, like you said, the age was about. See, if I was 26, I wouldn't have went to Aston Villa. I'd have stayed here.
Yeah, yeah.
A bit more time.
But you're 30 years old and you're thinking,
Of course.
how much longer can you?
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
and the amount of
anyway.
upheaval you've seen at Fulham, because it just struck me you saying that then that you've played in 2 seasons under Magath, Kit, Slav, obviously, and then there's a moment we got Stuart Gray's in charge at one
yeah,
period of
Stuart
time.
Gray did it stint, didn't he?
Or is it Stuart Gray? Like
Yeah, it was Stuart Gray.
Peter Grant.
That was it,
yeah.
So there's a lot of
Good
people.
Scottish guy, Granty.
So over 2 seasons, that's been a lot of
Yeah.
upheaval, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like
I think-
chaos.
See, out of all them that you mentioned, I think the person who had the easiest job was actually Kit.
Right.
Okay.
Kit had to make probably one decision, which basically was going to get him the managerial job right away, bring them players back.
Right, yeah.
Because there's no way in this world could you bring that amount of quality into a championship team
Yeah.
Not get
and
better.
get
Not
worse.
improve.
And get
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as he done that, you see it. We went on a little run, and
Yeah.
basically, I would say 4 or 5 weeks after Kit got the job, even though it looked quite scary at one point, I knew we weren't getting relegated.
Yeah.
We were too good to get relegated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And you were absolutely spot on with that. We've got to wrap up quite soon, as you can see. We're not far off. The ground's open. People coming in. We're not far from the game starting. But what we do have, and we wondered if you want to humour us here for a little bit. We have the starting lineup and the bench for that first game of the season in the Championship away to Ipswich, and we want to see, because we weren't very good at this.
I just
Who you
remember some of the names.
Who you remember? Yeah, I mean it's so hard to. But can
It's
you
a
remember?
mad team.
Let me get it up. The starting 11 from that first game of the season.
Do you remember where that is?
Ipswich away.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Do you know what? You're probably going to absolutely embarrass us here and be more than fine. But let's go. Where is it? Right, here we go.
There's one guy who's a midfielder, but I'm sure he played right back a lot. I forget his name. Other than that, I reckon I could
You reckon?
probably...
All right. Give us the goalkeeper.
Jesse.
And do you remember the bench? Who's on the bench at that point?
And goal.
Bench.
The goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper on the bench.
Would that have been Rodak?
No, it was Bettinelli.
Oh, Betts.
Marcus,
But he was,
yeah.
I was so young at that point.
Yeah.
Just come out of the academy. Defenders?
Defenders, Staphylidis.
Yes,
correct.
Costa Staphylidis.
Hutchie, Sean
Yes.
Hutchinson.
Correct.
Who would have been the other one with him?
There's a signing that came in with you.
Oh. Give me a clue. Initials.
NB.
I think he might have. Did he score possibly in this game?
There's two.
Bodorov.
Bodorov, yeah,
That's
Nikolai.
one guy you do not want to get on the wrong side
We've
of.
heard some stories about Nikolai,
Yeah.
and none of them good. I mean that in a lovely way, obviously. Yeah, the other defender you mentioned earlier actually scored in this game, and do you know what he was actually? I think I remember from my memory.
Centre mid.
Decent.
Half. No, he was left
Full-back,
back
isn't he?
or right back.
He would have played right back. Staphylidis played left back.
So yeah, right back. Who was-
But I'm sure he was a midfielder.
oh, was it?
Yeah, before he came here. What's his name?
Hoogland.
Oh no, not him then.
And do you remember the rest of the?
So
Obviously yourself
it
up
would
front.
have been Scotty
Yeah.
and Scotty, Cam Burgess, me. Musa was in front of me.
Yeah, correct.
Two
more in the
I'm looking
middle.
for right and left. Thomas Eisfeld,
He was on the bench.
was he on the bench? Emo?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, Hyman.
No, but that's not who I'm thinking of.
Oh, right.
This is- I'm thinking of the one underneath, who went off at half time actually.
George Williams?
I don't even remember. I don't
It's,
know.
I know. Am I right? I don't remember his first name. Is it Chris David?
Oh yeah. He scored an unbelievable goal here. I think
I don't
the
remember.
last home game before I came that season
Did
was
he?
at Crystal Palace.
That Crystal Palace. That was it, and that was
Yeah.
like the one glimmer of hope. Like we'd been
Yeah.
relegated, but we had this young player left after.
He was
a
a very good player actually.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
talented
good.
player.
So
Where,
many
where did
kids.
he go? Do you remember? Because he went at the start, didn't he?
I believe he's still playing now. I don't
Is
know
he?
what age he is. I thought
Get him on the pod.
I thought he was about 30 when I was here.
He did look. He did look like
it,
he looked
yeah.
like a really old academy player, didn't he? Like someone's cheating there. Amazing.
Mate, should just quickly say I can't think of anyone more deserving than you to get forever Fulham today on the pitch, man. And
I'm looking forward
people
to it,
really
yeah.
think of you so highly, and we would have been a League One club if it wasn't for you.
Without.
And if you scan back at the history of Fulham, really modern history, if that season goes as it might have done without you, then we're definitely not here now.
Yeah.
And I know lots of people our age feel the same, mate. So
Yeah, well, I think there's two things you can look at it that way, but me personally, I look at it as getting the job and bringing them players back in.
yeah,
You're a
yeah.
humble guy.
Yeah,
You're very modest.
I know, but
I like that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I was still there and with the same squad, I still feel as if we'd have got relegated.
Right, yeah.
Whereas I think, very quickly, a week or two after these guys getting reintegrated, I think everyone in the building knew that we are too good to go down here. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. And the lesson from the podcast today, which I didn't think I was going to learn, is don't be Brian Ruiz, clear up your plates.
Yeah.
Brian Ruiz not clearing up your plate and saying it's not your job to do it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like you said, Ivan, I think we would have probably got, I didn't realise that at the time, but we probably would have got more stories if Ross's son wasn't in the room.
Yeah. Couldn't
That was
agree
like
more.
a polite one. But that was like, because I love Brian Ruiz, so I was a bit like, oh,
Yeah. I mean, it was sort of surprising. You wouldn't have thought he would be the one, out of that team. You would have said maybe it's awful. Maybe Tunnicliffe. You imagine telling off Tunnicliffe a bit and going, clean up your plate. Come on.
okay. Yeah, and I also didn't have Ross down as sort of the moral, like janitor of
Yeah.
the situation, like telling everyone. It kind of makes sense now. It's like
That's why you got to love him, right? Just never
love
forget
it.
his roots. Always clean up your plate.
Yeah, and what a footballer Ross was, and yeah, it's just
What
great.
a
I really had a great time meeting Ross. I love meeting Ross McCormack.
Absolutely brilliant, and a fitting end, I think, to this batch of episodes. Episode 49 of Fulham Fix, which means the start of the next season of Fulham Fix, coming just after Christmas in the new year, will be episode 50, which is insane. So we've got a very big name lined up, which we're very, very excited about. So look forward to that.
So the first one, the Berbatov one, because that doesn't feel that long ago to me.
No,
You've done pretty well.
crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy.
So we're gonna episode 1 was a Fulham hero in Berbatov, and episode 50 is, I mean, he's
Massive.
probably up there in terms of what he contributed to Fulham, probably above Berber, wouldn't he? Far above, actually. Not like Berber.
I think if you ask Fulham fans, if you pitted them against each other, pick one, I would say pretty
Definitely.
confidently that you would go sort of 85% would be going for this, going against Berber. No disrespect to Berber, love Berber,
Love you, Berber.
but this guy's big. This guy's
Exciting.
big.
All right. Great.
So yeah, listen, we're probably not going to see each other now this for maybe to the end of the year. I know you've got a very busy year, and I know that
I'll be seeing you, Ivan. I'll be seeing you across the touchline, hopefully announcing Fulham goal scorers.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I'll be
Believe
hearing your
me.
voice out of the tannoy.
Well, listen, that's I will hopefully be doing a lot of those, a lot of enthusiastic ones. None of those kind of away goals. No one wants to hear sort of dreary away goals. So fingers crossed. And just to say, listen, if you're looking for a gift to give someone this Christmas, hey, look at what arrived finally, courtesy of Matt Horn in the end, Gavin and Stacey. It's finally got to me, and I cannot wait to read it. So thank you so much, Felix. And is it cheesy to say the perfect book this Christmas?
Not at all, Ivan. I really appreciate you putting it up there. Fulham fans will notice. I think I said this in the last episode, but that's the red and black. That's a nod to the red and black Fulham kit of the 70s, the classic Fulham away kit. And there's a lot of stuff in that book about finding Fulham Football Club and why and how it speaks to me then and still. So if you're watching the Fix, that probably will appeal to you.
With that, yeah, absolutely. With that, I actually, do you know what? I've had a couple of messages already from people talking about how eloquently you describe falling in love with football, and that the first time just putting it better than they could, and just it's I genuinely can't wait.
So when we come back for the new season, I'll get your review as well as this Fulham hero who is up there or beyond Berber.
Yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be absolutely massive. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching, and come on, you Whites.
Come on, Fulham.